Hello and welcome, crafty friends. We're going to start working on this little accordion paper bag book again. And I did want to show you how I made that little flower clustery thing there. I just took some packing paper and I crinkled it up and I'm just ripping it down a little bit, a little bit more narrow there. And once I get that done, I'm just going to take it and I'm just kind of twisting it. I'm trying to make it where I can start me a little circle there and just keep working my way around and twisting it as I go. And then once I can get it all twisted around there, I'm just going to grab my little tiny attacher and I'm going to staple that down to hold where I ended there. Then I'm going to grab my little flower. It's just a little tiny flower. I've had these flowers for years. I could even tell you where I bought them from or what they are. I mean, I have had them for years, literally. And I'm going to just staple that little stem on there to hold it. Then what I did was I just took some like chalk paint and just kind of brushed it on the edges there. Okay, so we're going to start working on the inside now. And I'm going to grab a little pocket page like we made a couple weeks ago. That was one of those that I hadn't decorated. And I'm just going to start figuring out what I want to put there. Of course, I am still using the 49 Markets, the Looking Glass ephemera pack. And I plan on using that through this whole book. So I really like how that looks. It's just enough for that. And I'm going to grab this time card because it just will fit perfectly in that flap of the bag. And I want it to stick out a little above the book anyway, just to give it that little bit of interest when it's, when it's closed up and you've got stuff peeking out. So I think that's what I'm going to go for here. And I think I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Field Note rub-ons here. They just seem appropriate, and I really like these. I have so many of these particular rub-ons. I think I bought maybe 2 or 3 packs at one time, just so that I would always have them on hand. And I like the shipment and collect, so I'm going to cut those out. And I'm going to rub them on. I'm also going to grab a number and put it on as well, just to give it a little bit of interest up at the top. So I'm going to get that done and then we'll go from there. So what do you think? Yay? Nay? I think I like it okay myself. And I think that's just perfect, just like that. It doesn't need anything more. Now I think I'm going to wait to fill all of my little pockets and things when we get to the end of today, when we get to the end of the video today, and just fill them all at once. So let's just go ahead and work on this page. Now I'm still trying to keep this really simple. I don't want it to be so over embellished. I just want to keep it nice and simple. So I'm going to grab an old book page there. And, and yeah, I found my Tim Holtz tool. Just dawned on me when it was kind of rolling down there and I had to move it out of the way. I found it. I'm telling you, I had moved my stuff, or some stuff, I said I'd put it in a cart and I brought it down from upstairs. Well, somehow it had gotten in one of my little baskets that had my trims in it. And it was kind of down along the side, but I found it, thank goodness. I didn't have to use the tweezers this time. But I did find me a couple of little fairy pictures. I just got them off Pinterest. And I'm going to try to use, I only have 4, but I'm going to try to use all 4 through the book. So it's not going to be, so swarmed with photos either. But I have a little rub on there, and I don't know who it's by. It was just a kind of a remnant I had off of something I'd used a long time ago there with the boots. And I'm going to use it on an old envelope. Now I wanted to get some of this Tim Holtz age tape because I want to put that on the picture on the top and the bottom to make it look like it's been, it's been taped down for a while on that old book page. So I'm going to get that placed on there, and then I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of that tape, and then I'm going to rub on those boots and all that wording on that envelope. Now I really like how that turned out. That just really was cute, I think. Now I'm going to have to figure out, I think I'm going to have to get me a paper clip to kind of hold that time card in. It does want to slip out. And I kind of looked in the cart beside me and I don't have any in there, so I'm going to have to get me a paper clip after a while and get that fixed. But yeah, that page just really come out cute. I really like that. And I love that age tape on that photo. Now I'm trying to decide what I really want to put on this page. I love that bag. But I think I'm going to go with this bag right here. And that way you can slip something in there if you wanted to. I think that would be cute. And if you wanted to hide, maybe like write something that you don't want everybody to see if they was to look at your book, you can kind of tuck it away. Or if you have a picture or something that's special to you and you want to tuck it in there, you can. So I just thought that was the better idea right there. And I wanted it to kind of flow with my other page, the old book page. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Now I've got to decide what I want to put on this, on the edge of that bag there to give it a little something. I'm going to look in my little dish there of my ephemera. Now I liked that, but I thought it just kind of blended too much. It didn't really pop on the page. So I'm going to see if I can find something else maybe that's just a little brighter. Yeah, I think that's the ticket right there. At least it's not so blended in with the print. So I am going to get ready to stick that down. I want to ink up the edges first. And I just don't want a white edge. I'm not really trying to grunge it or anything. I just don't want the white edge there. So I'm going to try to, get rid of that. Now, I do decide before I stick that down that I want the bag actually to open the other way. Because my thinking was, if you want to put something in that bag, then the little flap that's just a little further down is going upside down to you. So I, in the end, flip it this way. That way it's really opening up the right way to you. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't stick that down before I gave that some thought. So I like how that turned out. I did add a little piece of ephemera there and, rub on a little number. Uh, I just think it needed a little something there, so I'm happy with that. Now for this page, I am going to use the glassine bag right there. I ordered some of those years ago off someone that had them on Etsy. And I really like those bags. I love how they're crinkled and I love how they're copy dyed. So we're going to use that. And I like this ephemera piece right here with that blues and the greens. I really like how that just pops. So that's all glued down, and I really like the little strips that I added there. I still think it needs a little something, maybe a little age tape or something, but I'm gonna just think on it for a little while before I actually put anything else there. But I love how it looks. I love the color that's just popping off that bag, so I'm real happy with that. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do with this other page. And I want it to be a flip out page. That's what I'm going for. I want it to flip out. And so I think I'm going to use some old lace to kind of hold that where it will flip in and out. I know I have to trim it down a little bit. I don't want any of the white showing, that stark white. So I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. That way the white isn't showing on the back side of that. And I'm going to work on getting that hinge made out of that old lace. So I like that, and it was easy enough to use that old lace as a hinge. So I've got to find something there in the cart to be able to put against my pager so that the glue doesn't stick. But I didn't have anything in the cart, so I just had to use that piece of age tape of Tim Holtz there to keep them from sticking together. So I just have to use what you've got. I wasn't going to try to go find something. If it's not close, I'll figure something out. So I want to make a pocket page. I want to make a pocket here on this page. And I need to find something. I know I need to find a tag to put in the pocket. And I'm not sure if I want to put something, on that little postcard there. But anyway, I'm going to dig through here and see what I can find, and we'll get this page completed. Okay, so I like that. I like that just fine. I gonna kind of look the book over and just, I'm gonna figure out what to put in that pocket. And I think I'm just gonna grab something simple, just a piece of old book page or something there. I have this old time book, or I forget what do they call that? I can't even think of the name of it. But anyway, I have that, and I'm just going to fold that and put that in there. And I think that will work just fine. And then I want to figure out what I want to put in this envelope here. And I end up just grabbing a piece of my coffee stained paper there, or tea stained paper. And I'm going to just triple it over and, of course, cut it down to fit, where there's just, some paper to journal on in that envelope. That's just quick and easy right there. But yeah, that'll just be a piece of journaling paper to put in that envelope. And I'm not going to put anything inside the bag. I just think, I'm just going to leave that. I don't want anything. That's just for whoever owns the journal can fill it. Now, I do need to find something to put in this bag. And I actually have the perfect piece of old ephemera. And this is a kind of a brittle ephemera, so it would be hard to use it for anything other than just, if you're gluing it down, because it's one of those that just falls apart fairly easy. So I want to make sure it's the right size, and I'm just going to make me a little, well, not really a booklet, but like a fold over journaling piece. And I've got to figure out the best way to do that, how I want it in the bag. So yeah, I think that's the ticket right there. And we're going to fold that over and get that stuck down, and it's going to go in that bag. And that blue that's on that old ephemera really matches good to the little floral card. And I end up really liking that. I'm glad I had that little piece of ephemera there. So that is all together, and it's just really nice. I love that blue against that little flower card there. So that is going to be perfect. Now I want to decorate or put something on that blank bag, piece of the bag there on that page. And I'm really trying to decide if I want to use the other part of that ephemera I had, that old ephemera. But it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of brittle, and I just wasn't sure. So I'm just thinking, it's got that hunk out of it. And so I'm going to try to tear it down and, make it look a little more even there. But I just don't like it there, and I'll probably end up just saving that for somewhere else in the journal. So we're going to skip this idea and find something different. Now I do have an old canasta score sheet there, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. Do I just want to rip it, or, I'm just unsure. But I think what the plan is here is I'm going to not tear it. I'm not going to make a pocket. I'm just going to fix it where it flips down, where you can journal or, put something, a picture or something there. But it's just going to stay loose where you can take it and flap it down. That is my thoughts. I found this little card that I had. It's like just a letter card. And I can't believe I actually even found one with an F on it for fairy. So that worked out perfectly. Now I'm just trying to dig around to figure out what else I'm going to put there. I find this little, it's like well, it's not acrylic. I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a rub-on. It's just like a little plastic. Maybe it is acrylic, just butterfly. And I am actually going to staple that on. Now my tiny attacher is having trouble. It is not wanting to press the staple all the way in. So I've got to turn that over and try to get that staple stuck down. I'm not going to pull it out. I just want to try to bend those little prongs down. So I'm going to give it a good little whack with the with the tiny attacher. And it's still popped up a little bit. So I'm going to grab my bone folder and we're going to press those down. I tell you, the things we do sometimes when we're working on these journals. But I'm going to grab a piece of H tape and set it over that staple there to make sure that nobody gets their finger hung in that. And I want to get this glued down, and this is going to be the end of the journal, or the end of today's working on it. And I really like how it's come out so far. We will work next week on the other side, and I will catch you all in that video.